Namaste, welcome to Buddha's teaching. Today's topic is nothing new, it's about our mind again. As we continue our journey in a study about our mind, which is what the majority of the Buddha's teaching is all about. So we continue to explore more and more and try to approach to understand our mind from different angles, from different ways, from different avenues, so that we can get deeper or get to understand our mind more clearly. Because after all, our mind is the operating software that operates our body. Our mind is the driver of the vehicle. So the mind again. As you sit there right now, you looking at me, okay, and you listening to this video. So that is your mind, right? Now you are functioning with the visual mind. You are looking at me, so that's a visual mind. You hear what I say, so that is the audio mind, okay? So right there are two senses out of the five that we have, right? You have your eyes sense right now that is functioning, and you have your ear sense that is functioning, and also you have the sixth sense, which is the chitta, or the mind itself, we call the big decision maker, which is in the Pali language called mano, or the king, that is doing all the conceiving, the understanding, okay, and make the decision making, whether that you like it or not, or how you come to understand or not, or what. It's up to the king, right? The mano, the chitta, which is sense number 6, the sixth sense. So the mind, what is the mind capable of doing? As we know, the mind is of tremendous uh, power, right? The mind is capable of thinking, producing thought, of course, right? We do the thinking by way of our mind, and also the mind produce emotion, okay? So those are the two important things that our mind can do, okay? The mind do the thinking. It has tremendous power in thinking in so many different ways, in so many different directions, okay? And also the mind can produce emotion such as love, hate, anger, jealousy, compassion, goodwill, okay, uh, sadness, upset, frustrated, stress, and all that, okay? So that's what the mind can do, all right? And that is what we are experiencing on a day-to-day basis, from one moment to the next. That's what we are going through, right? You and I and everyone else on this planet, human beings, we are all doing that, okay? We are interacting by the way of our mind, by the way of our speech, by the way of our action, and through the process of the information exchange that the mind is performing through the five senses that we have. Okay? So the five senses are the doors to the world, in another words. Okay, in another word. So without the five senses, we would not recognize everything around us. We would not recognize the universe, the world. Okay, so we come to recognize everything around us through our five senses. Okay, so of course they are our eye, our ears, our nose, our taste bud, the tongue, and our tactile sensation, the body feeling. Okay, these five senses conduct messages from everything around us, and also the physical senses, which consists of our body here, is also sensing itself, and produce it give it it brings information to the sense number six, the sixth sense, which is we call the mind, the citta, or the mano, right, in the Pali language. Citta, C-I-T-A, or mano, M-A-N-O. They mean the same thing. So, how does that work? As you know, our mind changes all the time, right? It's impermanent, as we all know. Everything is impermanent, and so is our mind. Our mind changes from one state to the next based on different conditions that we meet, that we experience, right? So whatever that our five senses experience, okay, for example, you see me right now, okay, or you looking at something, whatever you see, okay, that is called the visual mind object. Okay, so you see me, I am the object of your visual mind. Okay, if you hear me talk, so the sound of my voice is the object of your audio mind. Okay, if you're eating something, the taste of that food, okay, so the food is the object of your taste sense, your sensing mind. So with the five senses working together at the same time, okay, all of our five senses interact with the world, okay, bring in different information at the same time, right? As you are driving, as you are walking, as you are talking, or as you are running, or whatever you do, you are interacting, and your mind and your five senses encounters all of that and bring all those information. The mind object that the five senses encounter working, right? So bring them in into sense number six, right? So sense number six, the citta. So that is what we call conditioned mind, right? In order for our mind to rise, it has to have proper condition for it. Okay, so one of the example, let's say about the visual mind. Okay, the mind that see. Now, in order for you to see me or to see things around you, what is required? There has to be proper condition for it. All right. Number one, you have to have your eyes. Okay, your eyes have to be working properly. Okay, without your eyes, or if you blindfold your eye, you cannot see, then there is no visual mind. There is no mind that associate with vision. Okay, so okay, number two, what else is required in order for you to have visual mind, the mind that associates with vision? You have to have object. Like me, I am the object of your visual mind. You can see me, okay, or you can see whatever in front of you, okay, your phone, your the table or whatnot. So those are objects. So that is number two. So there's an object there, because without object, the mind see nothing, right? The eye see nothing. Okay. And number three is light, right? Of course, in order for you to see me, there has to be light. Without light, you cannot see. It's just like you're in the dark. If I'm sitting in the complete darkness talking to you, even though I sit in front of you, you cannot see me. Okay? So there has to be light. Okay? So those are their conditions, right? That is what we call conditioned Dharma. Conditioned Dharma meaning Dharma has is in order for our chitta, our mind to arise, this conditioned Dharma is involved. And those conditions are as that. For visual, you need proper eye. You have to have your working eye. Okay, you have to have a an object that the eye can see, and you have to have light. There has to be light. Okay, otherwise you cannot have a mind that is associated with vision, with the eye. You cannot see, then there's no mind that associated with it. And that this goes the same with the other four senses plus sense number six, the mano. Okay, they all have to have condition. Without condition, there is no mind that can arise out of that particular sense factor. Okay, so for example, in order to for you to have a mind that is associated with food, there has to be food, right? There has to be food that come into, and you have to have taste bud that is working, right? Okay, uh, if you don't have taste bud that is working, you don't know whether the food is salty or sweet or bitter or whatnot, right? For example, like in the past few years when we were going through COVID, the patient and people who were sick from COVID, they lost a sense of smell and lost a sense of taste. So the mind that associates with smell or taste is gone. Okay, for that period of time. So that's how our mind arise. Our mind don't just come from anywhere. Our mind arise from that. Okay, that is the basic thing. Information comes in and it goes into sixth sense. Now, there's one other thing that our mind use, which is memory, right? Whatever information that the senses brings in, it goes into our mano and our chitta, and our chitta or our mind, the central processing unit, the CPU, goes into our storage, go into our memory. Okay, to see if it has something similar or something familiar. Okay, and that is how you come to recognize something that you already know. Okay, whatever that you already know, you're familiar, because the sense number six, the mind, has access to memory. Okay, Without access to memory, the mind would not recognize things, right? So like people who have Parkinson's disease or Alzheimer's, when they lose connection to the memory, then they lose connection, they lose the recognition of people, of family, of things around them, right? So the mano, the chitta, access the memory. Okay, so that is our database. Okay, the memory bank access the database, and from there the chitta, our mind, retrieve the information. If it is something new, then the mind at that particular point will try to figure out, uh, make a decision based on what it think, based on what it think that is best for itself. Okay, but if the mind retrieve information, go to retrieve some kind of information, and the information is there, it recognize the information. Okay, so it's, let's say there is a person, when you look and then you happen to see somebody. Now the mind access the memory, and the memory say, yes, that person, you have seen it before. So boom. Now at that particular moment, there's emotion involved now. All right, so the mind create emotion based on that. Okay, when the mind comes back from the memory, and let's say you see somebody that you had some kind of negative experience with that person before, there's dislike before. Okay, you did not like the person before. So now when you see the person again, I mean, the mind works so fast, you do not recognize how you do not understand how the mind works. But as soon as you see the person, the mind goes into the memory and access it and say, okay, that's a person that you did not like before. So now the reaction of the mind, the sixth sense generate negative emotion at that particular time. But this process here takes place so fast. Okay, it takes place at a fraction, at millisecond. Okay, so it takes place so fast, we do not recognize it. We are not aware of it. It just happened. It's just like natural, right? It's it's just like a normal flow. After all, the mind is an energy. Okay, it's a flow of energy. So because the mind works so fast, the mind reacts fast. Okay, to whatever the mind see, to whatever the mind perceive and retrieve. Right. So that's how we as human beings interact with the world. Okay, so at one point your mind is happy. Okay, you see something, you see a loved one, or you see a nice car, beautiful flowers, you see a friend, uh, whoever or whatever. Okay, you have one kind of emotion at that particular time. Okay, you have that, and then when you turn around, or just all of a sudden you hear something or you see something else. Now the experience has changed, right? When the experience change, now it access the process is fast. The information comes in, and the mano access the memory and come back, and it spit back the emotion. Okay, it spits back the emotion, or the opinion. Okay, back out fast. So your mind flip flop like that. It change from one moment to the next really fast, based on what we encounter, based on the mind objects, right? The object that we encounter. Okay, so, and becoming aware of that is very critical, okay, in the teaching. Buddha's teaching is this: we have to come to a realization that this is purely a mind work, okay? We are not doing it, okay? The mind, this is what the mind is doing, all right, on a day-to-day basis, on every moment that we are awake, every moment that we are conscious. This is what the mind does, okay? We do not do the laughing, we do not do the becoming happy or becoming sad or angry. We are not doing that. It's the mind that is doing it, okay? If you are sitting here, if you're sitting there, okay, and I'm gonna say, okay, right now, be angry, okay? Or I say, cry, start crying, be sad, okay? Or let's say, be happy, start laughing. You think you can do it? You can fake it, but it's not real. It's not natural, right? You can fake the laugh, you can fake the cry, you can fake the sadness, but it's not real, right? But on a natural way, on a day-to-day basis, let's say you're sitting there watching TV, okay? Let's say you're watching a comedy show or something funny, somebody in the show say something funny, boom, you laugh, right? Think about that. Is it you are doing the laughing, or the mind react to what the mind see, and the mind react by laughing? Okay, that is the important point. That is the critical point. Okay, that has nothing to do with you, because you cannot force your mind to laugh. Naturally, genuinely, you cannot do it. Okay, the mind has to have the proper condition. All right, when the proper condition arises, the mind react to it. Okay, that is the important thing. The mind react to the condition. Okay, the condition, what are the conditions? That the mind see, hear, smell, taste, or feeling. That's how the mind react to things. You are not reacting. You are not doing anything. Okay, your mind is doing it. That is the important thing that you need to understand. Okay, your mind react by crying, by being sad, because you hear something that the mind feel that it's not pleasant. Okay, let's say you hear a sad you hear a sad song, you see a sad movie, and automatically the tear comes down, you cry. You're not forcing yourself to cry, you cry automatically. Okay, when the mind hears something, somebody scold you, blame you on things, and you become the mind become upset. You think you will become upset, you become sad or depressed. It's not that. It's the mind reacting to what it hears, to what it sees. That's how the mind react to it. Okay, because again, if I'm forcing you, if I'm telling you, go ahead, be stressful right now, or go ahead, be upset right now, you said, how? Can't do it, because there is no condition for it. Okay, there has to be proper condition. This is called condition dharma. Okay, when the condition is right, the mind react according to that. Okay, so your mind, as you go through life, your mind flip flop change like that, because we are experiencing experiencing life through the five senses. So your mind change like that, right? You see all kinds of things going on. You see the news. You go to on social media, and your mind react to what the people post on social media. You see, because the condition is there, the mind react to it. Okay, so why does the mind react like that? Things like that. So that is something for you to do more study. Okay, into why does the mind react like that? Okay, and that is actually at the beginning of the lesson. I have the chart that show how the mind react based on what. Okay, if you go back and look at the first couple lesson, you will see why the mind react the way the mind reacts. Okay, so that is the important point that I'm trying to make right now in this episode is that the mind react to the different condition that we go through, and there's no you doing anything in this at all. This is the important part that give you a little space, a break away from what you have been identify yourself with, right? We all have been identifying ourselves with our thinking mind, okay, with our emotion. We always say I am angry, I am happy, sad, depressed, frustrated, on all of that. But this is what to show you that there's no I doing it. The mind is reacting. I is over here. That consciousness is over here. Okay? But the mind is doing all this reacting. But because we are not aware of this, we identify ourselves with this, with the mind, and we go with the flow. We all around throughout the entire world, most of us, we go with the flow. We're not aware of the manufacturer, okay? The big manufacturer, which is the mind itself, that is producing all kinds of thought, all kinds of feelings and emotion. Okay? Negative, positive, neutral. It goes like that, right? All the time, based on what the mind experience, right? So understanding that these are the products of the mind and you are becoming aware of this, that is important. You can, if once you can give yourself a little space back from this, then you now learn to observe your very own mind. When the mind see things, the mind react to it. When the mind hear things, the mind react to it. And you become aware of those things that's going on. Oh, the mind is reacting to what the mind see in positively or negatively, right? That is where wholesome and unwholesome mind arise. Okay, in the previous lesson, then that's how you watch. When there's wholesome mind arise, you know there's wholesome mind arise. When there's unwholesome mind arise, you become aware there's unwholesome mind arise even. Okay, such as anger, sad, depressed, worry, and all that. Those are unwholesome. Now you become aware of what the mind is doing. You are back here. The mind is over here doing all the happy, do all the laughing, crying, sad, depressed, everything. You become aware of the mind action. This is how you become more understanding of how this works. Okay, this is what leads you to understand of who you truly are. Okay, Up until now, most of us, we identify ourselves with the mind. So it's stick together like this, and it's very sticky. It's stronger than super glue. We cannot detach. It's together. Okay, you have to learn how to pry it apart, distance it apart, understand this mind. So that is a kind of a little bit deep into the study, and but that is important, right? I hope you get something out of it. And if you have any comment, suggestion, or anything, leave me one down below. Until next time, I like to pay respect to the triple gems. I like to pay respect to the Buddha. I like to pay respect to the Dharma. And I like to pay respect to the Sangha. Namaste.